Okay. Now the next type of movements is called the deformation. There are Now I like to touch briefly on extension and compression. Bedrock walls or on the other side, in some places they can move at speeds higher than 7,000 meters per year. Now, speeds like that are really unusual. 100 time versus the regular movements of the bridge, but you can observe. So it is rare. Last time we started to talk about the glaciers and how these massive ice form from crystallized snow. And some of you were amazed at how huge some of these glaciers are. Now, even though it may be difficult to understand how huge massive ice in order for it, it's really no secret that the glaciers flow because of gravity. But how they flow and why they flow needs some explaining. Now, the first type of the glacial flow is called basal slip. Basal slip or sliding, as it's often called, basically refers to the slipping or sliding of the glacier across bedrock, actually across the thin layer of water on top of the bedrock. Um, this process shouldn't be too hard to imagine. What happens is that the ice of the base of the glacier is under great zero pressure coming from the weight of the overlying ice, and you probably know that the under pressure, the melting temp or the ice mean is reduced. So ice at the base is measured melt even though it's below 0 degrees Celsius. And this results in thin layer of water between the glacier and ground. This layer of water reduces friction. It's like a lubricant, and it allows the glacier to slide or slip over the bedrock. Okay. Now the next type of movement we will talk about is called deformation. You only know that the ice will brittle if you hit it with a hammer. It will shatter or rust. But ice is also plastic. You can change shape without breaking. If you leave, for example, a barrel is supported only one end, then the supported end will deform when its own way, kind of flattening out and get stirred, deformed. Think deformation as a very slow oozing. Depending on the stress and the pressure, the ice crystal was in the reorganized. And during this reorganization, the ice crystals realign in a way that allows them to slide past each other, and circulation oozes downhill without any ice actually melting. Now, there are a couple of factors that affect the amount of deformation that take place, or the speed of the glacier's movements, for example. Deformation is more likely to occur the thicker the ice is because the gravity of the weight of the ice and temperature also play a part here. In the colder ice does not move easily as the ice that is close to the melting point. In fact, is not too different from the wet areas. The thick at lower temperatures. If you have a glacier in slightly warmer region, it will form faster than the glacier in the cooler region. Okay, now I'd like to touch briefly on extension and compression. Your text could include no gradation movements, but you will see that their code omitted, no, not included. And I might right now refer in the textbook. But basically, the upper parts of glacier have less pressure on them, so they don't deform easily. They tend to be more brittle. And crevasses can form in this upper layer of glacier when the glacier comes into contact with bedrock walls or the other words under some kind of stress. The event can deform quickly enough, so the ice will expand or constrict. And that can cause a weak fissure, a weak crack to form in the surface of the layer of ice, and that brittle surface ice moving glacial movement depending on which source you can saw it. Now, as you probably know, glacial generally move very slowly, but sometimes they experience a surge. And during this surge, in some places, they can move with speed as high as 7,000 meters per year. Now, speed hikes are pretty unusual, 500 times faster than the regular movements on glacier, but you can actually see glaciers move during these surges, so it is rare. So it is rare.